In this session, we're going to take a look at Israel's inheritance. All the people of Israel were born to an inheritance known as the birthright, which was a special leadership role. But each person had to prove himself worthy, or the birthright was given to another son. Now, those who are worthy of the birthright are also prepared to participate in the remnant. The birthright had 5 privileges and responsibilities. Let's take a look at the first privilege. Is the double portion of inheritance, twice the land and possessions that the other brothers received. Second was a special blessing. And we can look at the blessing of Jacob, for example. He was worthy to inherit the birthright, and his characteristics are what are required of the remnant. We read, "May God give you the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and abundance of grain and new wine." Now that's the double portion. May peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Now the third privilege and responsibility was office of high priest. We see that all the people of Israel, as God's firstborn son, were born to the birthright and were entitled to the office of high priest. However, they lost this right and privilege because of the incident with the golden calf. The office of high priest was then given to the tribe of Levi. The fourth is this possession of leadership. And we see that with Joseph's dream. When he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said, "We were binding sheaves in the field." Now you cut the wheat and then stand it upright and tie it. "My sheaf," says Joseph, "rose up and stood straight up, but your sheaves bowed down to mine." And then the last one is very interesting. It's procreative power, which means a whole lot of descendants. So the righteous ones are going to bear righteous descendants. So there'll be an increasing number of these righteous descendants that will serve in an army under Yeshua to defeat Satan. So this is interesting. Reuben was the firstborn son of Jacob, and he was entitled to the birthright. And we see that in Jacob's prayer of his son Reuben. "You're my firstborn, my might and the beginning of my strength, preeminent in dignity, preeminent in power." And then it goes on, "Uncontrolled as water, you shall not have preeminence." We have to think to ourselves, are we walking in the ways of God, or are we uncontrolled like water? The inheritance of the birthright is important to understand because it explains the remnant. Because those who are worthy of the birthright among Jews in Israel will participate in the remnant. And those of us who are Gentiles, we're not born to the birthright, but to the extent that we are in Christ, walking like him, acting like him, doing everything as he would do, we may be selected by God to participate in the remnant. So with that, I wish you shalom.